All right, thank you guys. Let's dive into some Conference USA action. And we're going to start with Florida Atlantic squaring off against Florida International. 7 p.m. Eastern kickoff Friday night. The Owls of Florida Atlantic. They're the 8.5-point favorite. Total's 41 and a hook. We're 2-0 in our last two extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And access to that extra daily pick costs us $2.99. We've also been victorious in 6 out of our last 7 daily best plays on that site as well. And if you want to unlock the daily best play, that's going to cost you just $1.99. Just keeps on getting cheaper. We currently have over 675 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, when it comes to this FIU ball game, the Panthers of Florida International are plus 280 for an outright win. Now, FIU's coming off a 9-point loss to Jacksonville State. The Panthers were the double-digit favorite in that one, and they were only able to muster up 10 total points in that contest. Now, the Panthers have failed to cover the point spread in their last 2 straight. They're winless in 3 tries as well. The Panthers are throwing for a pathetic 92 yards per contest. 12 sacks this O-line's given up already through just 3 games. The Panthers' top receiver on the team is averaging just 30 receiving yards a game. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, this FIU defense is allowing nearly 30 points a game and over 220 yards a game on the ground. They've also taken the ball away just twice, just 2 takeaways on the year. Florida International has failed to cover the number in 5 out of their last 7 at home, of course, dating back to last season. And they also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 conference ball games. Now they're taking on a Florida Atlantic program who just won 2 in a row. They gave up just 9 total points in those 2 ball games. This defense has been outstanding. Now the Owls are 3-1 straight up overall for the season, and they successfully covered the point spread in 2 out of their last 3. FIU's averaging nearly 4 sacks per contest. Edge rusher Jalen Joyner has 5 sacks already through just 4 games, 17 total tackles for Joyner. And of course, linebacker Chase Lassiter leads this club in tackles with 34 of them as well. And as much as, the Owls offense has struggled in certain spots, and believe me, they have struggled moving the ball a little bit, their rushing game still finds them averaging nearly 170 yards a game on the ground. Now, running back Malcolm Davidson is averaging 7.5 yards per touch on 26 carries. The Florida Atlantic offense has also scored 5 rushing TDs on the ground. Now, the Owls have taken 4 out of their last 5 against FIU, 9-1 straight up in their last 10 conference ball games. Now, total-wise, Florida Atlantic has yet to see an over this season. 4-0 to the under through a handful of games. Meanwhile, FIU's coming fresh off a game that fell 27 points below the posted number themselves. Give me the Florida Atlantic Owls. Minus 8.5 in the under, 41 and a hook in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to go ahead and take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video. I got some lines and personal leans out for College Football Week 11, Conference USA edition. But before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 2-0 in our last 2 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. Of course, access to the extra daily pick costs just $2.99. We're also 6-1 in our last 7 daily best plays on that site as well. And of course, access to the daily best play costs just $1.99. Really inexpensive to get, these picks. Really affordable price for good content here. And we currently have over 675 members signed up and active on that site. So if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I would love to have you. And link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, our next game, I cannot imagine is on our big screen. As always, oh my God, it is. Next ball game, there it is. Gardner-Webb taking on Charlotte, 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff this Saturday. The Charlotte 49ers are the 30-point favorite at home, total 62 and a hook. The running Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb, they're plus 1,800 for some money line cash. Now, FCS member Gardner-Webb will be playing its first and only game of the 2020 season. I'm really confused. I'm pretty sure this is their first, but I don't think they're playing any more games. I think it's their first and only game. I don't know. But anyway, they're an FCS team who played the likes of East Carolina and Charlotte last season, and they gave up 48 and 49 points respectively in those blowout losses. Now, the Charlotte 49ers, on the other side, they've won 2 out of their last 3 themselves, and that includes a big 49-21 victory over North Texas. They scored 87 total points in their last 2 victories. I think Charlotte actually went viral a few weeks ago because one of their special teams players went absolutely ballistic and crazy on the sideline, hyping himself up, and he was flopping around on the turf like a fish, and they were all jumping up and down and stuff. I don't know. I saw it on Barstool. But anyway, the 49ers are 1-0 straight up at home. They successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 5 ball games as well. Charlotte scoring nearly 30 points a game on average, and they're rushing for almost $170 a game. Now, running back Trey Harbison III has rushed for 257 yards, and he scored 4 times on the ground. The 49ers are averaging a little over 2 rushing touchdowns per contest. The 49ers defense also has 5 interceptions on the season, 2 of them by linebacker Tyler Murray, who also has a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and 40 total tackles on the season. And speaking of tackles, linebacker Ben DeLuca leads the Charlotte defense with 41 of them on the year. 2 forced fumbles and an interception for DeLuca as well. Very solid core of linebackers in the Queen City. Now, total-wise, I'm not looking for Gardner-Webb to score a whole lot of points in this one. And to be honest, Charlotte hasn't particularly been an offensive juggernaut themselves. The 49ers opening 2 contests of the 2020 season also fell under the posted total. So I think they should be able to put up at least 30. I think they should be able to get the job done. Not expecting a whole lot of points. I like the 49ers of Charlotte minus 30 and the under 62.5 in that ball game. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Middle Tennessee taking on Marshall. I don't say it up there. 12 p.m. Eastern start time in West Virginia. The Marshall Thundering Herd is minus 23.5. Totals 56 and a hook. Now, the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders are plus $9 for an upset win. MTSU's won 2 out of their last 3 ball games. Victories over Rice and FIU during that stretch. Now, the Raiders actually scored 106 total points in their last 3 contests as well. Middle Tennessee's been averaging 32 points a game in their last 5 contests. The Raiders are averaging nearly 6 yards per play and nearly 150 yards a game on the ground. Now, they're taking on a Marshall team who, make no mistake, they're very, very good this season. We actually tailed them a couple times earlier in the year. Nice victories. Perfect 6-0 in the year thus far is Marshall. But with regard to the number here, these guys have failed to cover the point spread in their last 2 straight. Failures to cover against the likes of UMass and Florida Atlantic. And even worse, both of those 2 failures to cover were on their home field. Now, total-wise, Marshall does have one of the best defenses in the country. Just 9 points a game they're giving up for the season. 66 yards a game they're allowing on the ground. 2 out of the Herd's last 4 home games stayed under the line as well. Meanwhile, Middle Tennessee saw their first 2 ball games of the 2020 campaign stay under the posted total themselves. So I do think they're going to get the job done, keep it close. I don't think they're going to win it outright, but I do think they should keep it within 3 scores. I'm going to lean toward another underdog. Give me the underdog Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders plus 23.5 and the under 56 and a hook in that contest. Next matchup, North Texas UAB. And that's going to be a 3 p.m. Eastern start time at Legion Field in Birmingham. The Blazers of Alabama Birmingham are minus 14, total 65 flat. The North Texas Mean Green are plus 380 for an outright win. Now, North Texas is coming fresh off a 17-point victory over Middle Tennessee State. They put up 52 big points on the Blue Raiders in that one. This explosive, mean green offense is averaging 39 points a game and throwing for over 338 yards per contest. Wide receiver Jalen Darden has caught 46 balls for 689 yards and 10 touchdowns. Darden's averaging 15 yards a catch and 138 yards receiving per contest. Meanwhile, when it comes to this North Texas rushing attack, they're gaining a staggering 255 yards a game on the ground. Now, running back DeAndre Torrey's averaging almost 7 yards a carry, and he scored 4 touchdowns on the ground this year. He's touched it 67 times for 444 total rushing yards. They're taking on a UAB program who's on a 2-game losing streak themselves, just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 as well. The Blazers have failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of their 4 home games on the season as well. They're giving up nearly 150 yards a game on the ground, and they throw for just 191 yards a game offensively. Now, total-wise, UAB saw 2 out of their last 3 ball games get over the posted number. Meanwhile, North Texas is currently 4-1 to the over for the 2020 season themselves. I'm going to lean toward another underdog, keeping it close. Give me the underdog, North Texas Mean Green, plus 14, and the over 65 in that game. All right, next matchup, it is going to be not on our screen, but it's going to be Utep taking on San Antonio, and that's going to be a 3 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Texas-San Antonio Roadrunners are the 7-point favorite at home, totals 45 points. Now, the Miners of Texas El Paso are plus 225 on the money line. The Utep Miners have also successfully covered the point spread in their last 3 straight. Covers against Charlotte, Louisiana Tech, and UL Monroe. Utep's officially 3-1 against the spread when they travel this season as well. They're giving up less than 220 yards a game passing. They also held their opponents to 21 points or less in 4 out of their 6 ball games on the season. Now, linebacker Stephen Forrester has 44 total tackles on the season, 23 of them solo. Defensive back Duran Lowe also has a pair of interceptions from this secondary, 18 total tackles and a fumble recovery. And, of course, can't forget about big defensive end Praise Amawule, who has 7 sacks on the season, along with 6 pass deflections from the D-line. Just getting, there's big paws up in the way and disrupting things. A very productive year out of him. Now, UTEP's taking on a San Antonio team who lost, they just lost by 21 to Florida Atlantic in their last ball game. The Roadrunners weren't running too much at all, as they were held to just a field goal all game. San Antonio's also dropped 4 out of their last 5 ball games and failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of their last 4 at home. This Roadrunner defense is allowing nearly 170 yards a game on the ground. UTSA's also dropped 13 out of their last 18 against a Conference USA opponent. Now, total-wise, the Roadrunners' last 5 straight all stayed under the posted total. They're officially 75% to the under through 8 ball games. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the UTEP Miners saw 3 out of their last 4 contests stay under the number themselves. So with all that said and done, yet again, I'm going to lean toward another underdog catching points. Give me the underdog UTEP Miners plus 7 and the under 45 in that matchup. Next contest, it is going to be Rice University taking on Louisiana Tech. There it is. I thought we had it. 3:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, Louisiana Tech's -1 at home, totals 50 and a hook. The Rice University Owls are catching even money for an outright victory. Now, Rice has played just 2 games thus far in the season. They gave up 40 points and a loss to Middle Tennessee State in their opener. Rice has also dropped 15 out of their last 18 on the road, and of course, that dates back over the past couple of seasons here. And they also lost 5 out of their last 6 at Louisiana Tech. And speaking of the Bulldogs, Louisiana Tech is coming fresh off a 3-point overtime victory over UAB. They came back from 14 points behind in the final minutes to push that one into overtime. Now, the Bulldogs are 3-1 straight up at home this season, winners of 8 out of their last 9 home games dating back to last season as well. Running back Israel Tucker is averaging 4.1 yards a carry, and he scored a couple of touchdowns on the year as well. Meanwhile, wideout Adrian Hardy has caught 33 balls for 440 yards and 4 touchdowns. This La Tech defense has also forced a dozen turnovers, thanks mostly in part to 8 interceptions. Defensive back B.J. Williamson has 3 interceptions on the year, along with 3 PBUs and 45 total tackles. And speaking of tackles, linebacker Tyler Grubbs leads this Bulldog defense with 72 of them. And big D lineman Milton Williams currently has 4 sacks on the season for Louisiana Tech, 34 total tackles, and a fumble recovery. Now, total-wise, Louisiana Tech saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the posted number. 3 out of their last 4 home games also got over the line. Meanwhile, Rice on the other side saw their opening matchup of the 2020 season fly 26 points above the posted number for that game themselves. Give me Louisiana Tech -1 and the over 50.5 in that contest. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Southern Miss, Western Kentucky, 3:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Western Kentucky's the 5-point favorite at home, totals 49. The Golden Eagles of Southern Miss are plus $1.85 for some money line cash. Now, Southern Miss has failed to cover the point spread in their last 3 straight, just 1-6 against the spread overall for the season. They're also giving up nearly 40 points a game and almost 200 yards a game on the ground. The Golden Eagles have failed to cover the point spread in 9 out of their last 10 ball games dating back to last year. They're taking on a Western Kentucky ball club who successfully covered the number in their last 2 straight themselves. So a little bit of a different story here between these two teams. Now, the Hilltoppers have won their last 3 straight meetings with Southern Miss. WKU's leading rusher, Gage Walker, is averaging 4 yards a carry on 88 touches. And wide receiver Mitchell Tinsley has 30 catches for 274 and 3 scores. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, Western Kentucky's last 3 straight ball games stayed under the posted total. Meanwhile, 3 out of Southern Miss' last 4 contests stayed under the line themselves. So with all that in mind, give me the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers -5 and the under 49 in that game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.